hello again. I've really been looking forward to sharing this bus with you. This is a really fun project. This is an Icon 1967 VW split window bus derelict. We just finished it up and it just feels, well, groovy. I think the deadheads would be proud of us. Basically, my client came and she said, look, I love VW buses and I want one, but I've had them. I don't want to drive one, I don't want to smell one, I don't want to push one up hills, I don't want to worry about one catching fire during the summer, and all those traditional VW charms. She did want to keep the essence of it, still very Volkswagen, but she wanted to be able to go on extended freeway trips and go camping with her family. So it's a 3-person family, and we originally were looking at Westfalias and a couple other different versions, but you know, with these derelicts, it's all about the patina. So we have to start with really the right bus to make the whole thing work. So in this case, what we stumbled into is this lovely little Virgin. This is a 1967. It's had 2 owners since new. It's 100% original paint. In fact, when we found it, it was original everything, upholstery, motor, the whole 9 yards. Not a speck of rust on it anywhere, and the body is just phenomenal. And what's cool about the patina, I know I say it a lot, patina, patina, patina. What's cool about it is that it's from love, it's not from neglect. So it's not a bus that was thrown out in the backyard to rot for decades. It's a bus that has been in constant duty and has been lovingly washed and rubbed and cared for, and the paint has naturally worn down to the primer. So just once we found the bus, we're like, yeah, that's it, that's perfect. Furthermore, we had been looking for one that had the right sort of factory, you know, camper interior configuration, and we just couldn't find it. So this was actually quite enabling, because this had the standard transporter configuration where it had 2 forward-facing benches in the rear. Now what we did is we left the rearmost bench where it belongs. Then the second row we rotated 180 degrees. Now in doing that, we created a perfect environment for fitting a table. Because the idea was on the inside was for playing cards, drinking, eating, hanging out, and just having a good time. So that motivated us to model the entire interior, and we actually did a full CAD video tour of the interior so that we could communicate this really well with the client all the way through to the roof rack. So we were able to share the model with her so she could get her head around what we had in mind for it. We all agreed it was the right way to go, so we had at it. We worked with our dear friends at Abel & Baker, masterful cabinet makers, custom woodworkers. We've done a couple projects with them, both me personally in my house and on different icons like our Thrift Masters. So Josh was really pivotal on the interior design at Abel & Baker, and he worked with us to do the modeling and the layout design. And we chose walnut for the interior finish, and it's all finished in a satin marine rated clear, so it doesn't look all fresh and new. It just kind of fits the vibe of the bus. We created cabinetry for liquor and to hide the power inverter. There's a really strong 110 inverter hiding in the cabinet behind this front row of seats. We also put 110 outlets in here on the floor at the front of the cabin, and there's another one on the exterior, which was done by repurposing a vintage housing that was there and then putting modern guts inside of it. We also have USB docks. Complementing all this fine custom cabinetry work on the inside is a really cool textile that we worked long and hard to locate. It's actually vintage 60s patio furniture material, and it was new old stock, meaning it had never been used. So the durability and the UV stability of patio furniture fabric is a home run for automotive. And then the colors and pattern were just a perfect match for the patina burgundy on the body. All seats were restuffed with brand new dense pile closed cell foam, and then the side panels were all done in a marine rated German vinyl in a color again tied into the exterior paint finish. The interior is lit with nice environmental LED lights that are super subtle. They're in both the liquor cabinet as well as routed into the bottom of the deck of the removable table. And then they're programmable and dimmable, and they do some silly disco light shows I don't think we're ever going to use, but it came with it. Other details on the interior: nice high-end audio system using Alpine components, going to a dedicated Bluetooth interface, so there's no visual elements of the audio system. You go off your smartphone and then access your catalog of music or whatever app you want to run your tunes off of. Now, probably the most complicated aspect of this entire build was the air conditioning. Buses never had AC, we all know that. So where the hell are you going to put it? Not only do we want to put in AC, but we wanted to put in dual AC because the cabin's so large and the vehicle's going to live in a really humid, sticky, hot environment. So that just took so much work, but now it's like a meat locker in here. It'll just freeze you right out. So we have central AC and heat. There's a front one in the front cabin, which is controlled by the dash switches, and then another one in the rear, which has its own control panel right by the rear seating area. For the vents of the AC, we had to get pretty clever. Originally, there's a package tray under the dash that goes full width. We maintained some of that for storage, but we created enclosures in sheet metal, and then we slotted those, taking the design language from the slots for the speaker on the dash, and that facilitated 2 outboard vents. Below that, we fabbed a large sheet metal cover to hide the main AC unit. And then in the center of the dash, where the original AM radio went, we fabbed yet another panel and slotted it. All of that sheet metal work was then painted and patinaed to match the original interior body color, white. We did a couple other small faux patina insert panels, such as to hide the power inverter and modern electronics behind the front seats. The factory spare tire well is maintained. Now, mechanically, this bus has got a lot of tricks up its sleeve. We're running a contemporary Volkswagen Jetta water-cooled gasoline motor. Puts out about 195 horse, and it still feels like a V-dub. It actually sounds like a V-dub, but it's a lot quieter. No stink, no rattles. The Jetta engine is supported by a fully functioning OBD2 harness, so we maintained all the diagnostic capabilities. That is really a key benefit to using a contemporary motor. Also, obviously, fuel injection and just greater refinement all in all. Hooked up to this Jetta motor is a Vanagon generation transmission that allows us both a sturdier unit, freeway-friendly gear ratio, and just a more robust design in general. For brakes, we're running Wilwood big brakes, and to do so, we had to find a set of 15-inch bus wheels, which are kind of hard to find. Those 15-inch wheels were powder-coated, and then we reattached the original hubcaps. And now, man, does this thing turn heads when you're on the freeway and blowing by people, 75, 80 miles an hour in an old bus. It's pretty funny. And actually, turns out the factory vent system, it actually works well when you're doing 70 miles an hour plus, but I just think the engineers maybe have been a little too hopeful as to the potential top speed in a stock bus. Not only is the engine electrical system new, but every wire in the entire bus is brand new. It was in good shape, but with the harnesses being so cheap for these buses, it was just good insurance to go ahead and relume the entire vehicle. While we were doing that, we upgraded the headlights and, in fact, all lighting to light-emitting diodes. And then, of course, when the body was blown apart and the bus was basically a shell, we used copious amounts of Dynamat to really step up the insulation and refinement in the cabin environment. Every weather stripping seal was replaced. The windshield is brand new, all rubber, all weather stripping, all of it brand new and done in high detail. So let's say you've had a bottle of scotch and you got your ass kicked, gin rummy, and it's time to go to bed. We decided that instead of dealing with playing Legos and reconfiguring the interior for sleepy time, that we would use one of the products that we've had great success with TLC and our Icon four-wheel drive products, and that's the ARB roof tent. We mounted the tent on a hand-built roof rack designed by a guy who does traditional VW replica racks, but then we worked with him to get just the basic assembly from him, which we then strenuously modified. We modified it a couple different ways. We upgraded all of the wood to walnut to match the interior design, and then we changed the side gutter all the way around so that we could mount the ARB roof tent. The tent's on dedicated perches, which also enhances the rigidity of the rack. The tent is super cool because it pitches in like 30 seconds. You remove 4 little straps, you unclick 2 little catches, and then it hinges open, and voila, you've got a fully pitched tent ready to go with a rain cover, mesh covers for the window, nice mattress foundation, and then of course there's a side ladder that comes down for accessing the rack. It's nice to be off the ground when you're camping, in my opinion. Unfortunately, as you see in this video, we screwed up and put the tent on backwards. Trust that I will fix that. The whole point is for it to unfold on the passenger side. That way, it serves double duty as a shade canopy over the side opening doors. Front floor mat is the factory original rubber mat, still in great shape. And then back in the party zone, we did a Dynamat insulated, rubber-backed, removable, marine-rated carpet mat. The table's super cool in the way that it stores. You simply fix it in the back when you're traveling on the deck above the engine. There's 2 small platforms into which it fits nice and tight. And then on its left and right are 2 small sprung clips that hold the legs. So when you're ready to put the table up, all you do is pull the legs out, fit them into the cups on the floor, and then align the tabletop, and voila, you're done. There's a connector underneath the table which allows you to connect the LED lights, which are just kind of cool at night to subtly light the interior. The rearward facing seat can be removed easily, and then it'd be fun to have it around the campfire, we were thinking. So you can simply unbolt it and continue to find utility with it outside of the vehicle around the campsite. You may notice that on the removable seat, the factory rubber armrest was deleted and sculpted in the walnut wood. We decided to continue on that theme, and up in the front door panels, which again are all solid walnut with a fabric overlay and the factory trim reapplied, but we deleted the plastic handle and again did that in hardwood. The whole point of a derelict is to blend in and have a good time, you know, enjoy life. So not only are we working to further enable the user by re-engineering the vehicle to have more modern functionality and enhanced utility, but we're also sort of trying to create a moment in time, like a safe zone. So whereas if you have a modern luxury car, there's so many preconceived notions today. Everyone thinks, oh yeah, he's a this or he's a that, or she's all about the money, and you just get beyond all that noise, all that nonsense. If anyone even notices this bus, they're gonna smile. You're gonna get positive vibrations, thumbs up, good feelings. So it's the sweet spot. They're really my favorite projects, really for that reason and that reason alone. Just, they bring out good feelings. So that's pretty much it. As always, I really appreciate you taking the time to get into my head and study these vehicles in greater detail and understand really what Icon's all about. This project's really been a joy to build, and I think my client's going to enjoy it for decades. Any more questions, feel free to reach out to us. Our phone number is 818-280-3333. Our website is icon4x4.com. You can follow us on Instagram at icon4x4. And that's all I got for you. Peace out.